Bitcoin is at $44,000. Yes, it is moving incredibly fast. Less than 2 weeks ago, we were still in the 30,000s. It smashed past 40,000, 41, 42, 43. Now we're at 44 and it is just keeping going. So now we are starting to get to a point where there starts to get a little bit of FOMO because it is moving so fast and it's not giving that pullback that people want. So let me dive into the charts. Let me share with you what I'm expecting, what I'm watching, and how I'm looking to play this. If you want continued updates, make sure to subscribe to my channel down below or follow my page on Instagram to be able to keep up with these updates. And if you're looking for more help, my VIP membership and Discord is the place to be with all the education, updates, daily charts, and my personal trade ideas. If you want to join us, the link with the details is in the description down below. All right, so the last video I made, Bitcoin was at 41,000, just over 41, and it just keeps going. So this is a 3-day chart. You can see over here, we have had an insane rally at this point where we basically went from 26 to almost 44,000. And this is what I've been saying. You don't want to be a bear. You don't want to be shorting when the trend is this strongly bullish. All the people that are shorting this all the way up, you get wrecked because you think on the shorter term time frames, oh, it can't keep going, it's overbought, and yet Bitcoin just keeps ripping. It keeps going higher and higher and higher, even though in bear market conditions that we've been conditioned to over the past 2 years, where every time it pumps a little bit, it comes all the way back down, it goes lower. That is completely reversed. I've been bullish here since the beginning of 2023 when we reclaimed the 3-day 50 moving average, okay? So this right here, this was the signal to flip bullish again. You can see the entire bear market, we stayed below it. We flipped above it, we retested here twice. This was a bit of a fake out here where we got below it, we got back above it. This was your signal here at 28,000, getting back above the 3-day 50 moving average. That was bullish, that was long. And now we stay long until we are wrong, until invalidation. So as you can see over here, the whole 2020 bull market where Bitcoin basically went from 10,000 to 65,000 in a matter of about 6 months, there were really no significant pullbacks and it stayed above that 3-day 50 moving average. Now, yes, there were pullbacks, as I've shared before here, from 42 to 30s. So that is obviously quite a big pullback. That is a 25% pullback. But look, if you got in and you missed this all the way up here from 10,000 all the way up to 30,000, you didn't get a chance to go back below 30. It ripped all the way to 42, then it dropped to 30. If you were looking to buy in the 20s or in the teens, you didn't get that chance anymore, the whole bull market. So that is what I'm saying here. Right now, I can really start to sense people are getting FOMO and they're saying, oh, I wish when I bought like 2 weeks ago when it was in the 30s. I wish I bought when it was in the 20s. I wish I bought last year when FTX collapsed when it was below 20K. Now we're getting that same situation where it is not giving that pullback, and people who have not bought in are in a very difficult position because now they have to make the decision, well, I'm watching it go up every day without having it. Do I wait for a pullback that doesn't come, that just keeps going higher and higher and higher? Or do I just FOMO in and hope it keeps going higher? And obviously at some point we are going to get a situation like in 2020 where we get a $10,000 or $15,000 pullback in a short period of time in Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin pulls back 20 or 30%, I suspect that altcoins are going to pull back between 30 and 50%. So it's going to be quite brutal in terms of anyone who's buying FOMO, buying that top too late, right? Watching it go up and up and up and up. And at the very top, when they can't take the FOMO anymore, they buy, and that's when it drops 20 or 30%. And then they panic again, or they get liquidated, and they sell when it drops 20 or 30%. And then a few weeks later, it just continues going even higher. That is how most people just completely get wrecked, even in a bull market. It is very, very common, you know, and you hear these stories and you're like, well, why did you lose money in one of the biggest bull markets of all time? Well, exactly because of that. It is such a mental and psychological game. That is why I've been saying you want to buy it when there's fear. You want to buy it when there's panic, because when nobody's interested, that is really the best time. When it starts going higher like this, it doesn't give you the pullbacks that you want, and you're faced with that dilemma of, do I FOMO in? What if it drops? Or do I wait for a drop, but what if it just keeps going? It becomes harder and harder. And yes, we are still at 44,000, so actually we're still quite a way off. It becomes even more of a dilemma the higher it goes. So if Bitcoin starts getting back to 50, 60, 70,000, the all-time high, that dilemma becomes even worse, because if you missed it all the way to 70K, but now the risk reward has changed so much where instead of going from 15,000 to maybe 150,000, which is a 10x, you're now buying it at 70,000. And if it goes to 150, it's maybe a 2x. But at the same time, you have that downside risk of potentially 50 to 80%. So the risk reward changes. Right now, even though Bitcoin is still at 44K, we still have a lot of opportunity, believe it or not, in the altcoins, because those still haven't really moved. Yes, we're starting to see them move, but they're still way down from their previous cycle highs. So that means that if you're not yet positioned, you want to start looking at potentially altcoins. NFTs are starting to move again. I think they will make a comeback too. And yeah, altcoins are, in my opinion, also a good thing because the multiples there are potentially still 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x, especially the lower cap ones. But keep this in mind, what I've been saying, at some point, we probably get a 20 to 30% correction on Bitcoin, a $10,000 to $15,000 move. It'll probably be very quick. In a matter of 1 to 2 weeks, it just massively drops. It clears out all those leveraged longs that are FOMO, late longing into it, that have been getting away with it in one swift go. It's just gonna dump. That's what I'm expecting. That's what it did here last time. And when it does that on Bitcoin, it's very likely that altcoins are going to outperform to the downside also. So you probably see 30, 40, 50% drop in altcoins in a very quick period of time. A lot of blood across the board, a lot of liquidations. But that pullback, when we get it, whether it starts here at 44 or whether it starts from 48 or 50 or higher, when we get that pullback, you will know. I'll probably make a video about it. And at that point, that will be the one to watch, that when we get that deep 30, 40, 50% correction in altcoins, that'll probably be the best buying opportunity that we still get for the remainder of this bullish trend, in my opinion. So let's have a quick look here at Ethereum. What do we have here? Well, we have broken out to the upside so far. You can see it has finally broken above these highs over here. We're at almost $2,300 over here, and you can see what is the target. I still think the target is here, the Fibonacci golden pocket. So if Bitcoin plays along and continues going a bit higher to around the $50,000 level, we can see ETH probably play catch up and probably rocket towards the 3,000, maybe to the $3,500 level, and that could potentially happen in the next few weeks, depending on when, of course, we are going to get that pullback. Do we get it now in December, or do we get it around January with some sort of updates about the ETF approvals? Does it happen when the ETF gets approved? Do we get the pullback then and then continue higher? Either way, I am looking for higher still here. At this point in time, all that we have to watch right now is wait for seeing if we get a drop here below 2150 at this point. If this drops back below here, we have to be careful that this wasn't a deviation with a continuation here down. Okay, so for now, as long as we are above this 2150 level on ETH, I'm looking for more upside. And then, of course, the play is in the altcoins. We're starting to see them move as well. You can see Doge here, for example, is up 10%. It is back at 10 cents. You can see over here, it had a nice move. It's basically doubled here in the last 6 weeks or so. So it's done a 2x. But as you can see here on the charts, it is still nowhere near the previous cycle high, which was at 70 cents. So basically still a 7x if it goes back to the all-time high. And you can see here, if we look at the previous cycle's price action, how quickly that actually happened. You can see here. So on April 10th, it was still here trading at about 7 cents. Then you can see over here, May 7th, right? So literally a month later, it went from 7 cents, it did a 10x in the space of a month. So altcoins tend to move later towards the cycle because Bitcoin goes up first, and then as Bitcoin goes higher, the risk reward becomes less. Profits move over into Ethereum, Ethereum moves higher, and then those profits all start to flow into the lower cap altcoins. And because their market cap is so low, they can move so much so quickly because there's much less capital needed to really pump it. And when they start pumping, then everybody gets on board. The bots start jumping in. The influencers start making videos to their millions of followers saying, hey, buy this low cap coin, buy this shit coin, buy this meme coin. And then before you know it, you have millions and tens of millions of people all throwing a few $1,000s at these low cap coins, and they start pumping like crazy. And then we get this result where in the period of a few weeks, we get this major upside in the altcoins. And that is why I'm saying now, if you are still sidelined, or even if you still have some risk capital and you want to position it, Bitcoin isn't really going to do crazy multiples at this point. It's just 44,000. If it does a 5x, it's already insane. That's already over 200K. I don't know if it's even going to do that. But if you're looking at coins, and Doge is already a big market cap, if you're looking at the lower cap ones, look at the other meme coins, look at the other dog coins, Shiba, Floki, there's many of them, and you can go and look through the list of different altcoins. I mean, you can scroll through them, look at the charts, see what they look like, and even though you can say, yes, some of these altcoins are up already 3x, 5x, maybe even 10x from their bear market lows, but look where they were last cycle. Now, that isn't a guarantee that they will get back up there, but just showing you how low they still actually are compared to where they've been. FTM here is still a 10x from current levels to be able to get back to those previous cycle highs. You can scroll through everything, and these are still all bigger coins. If you look at something like Mover, for example, which is now rebranded to Beam, it is only at $7. It was $500 when it launched last cycle. Now, I don't know if it's ever going to get back there, but even if it gets back to half that level, that's still like a 30x just on this coin. And there will be many more coins that'll do 30x, 40x, 50x. If this bull market continues, then there will even be new coins that launch, new meme coins, even new maybe layer ones, new narrative coins. So we are still very much in a point in the cycle where there is still a lot of upside potential. But the more time that goes on and the higher that the prices go, the higher that altcoins get, it becomes harder and harder to make the decision of where do you buy in, do you wait for a pullback, do you just ape in, how much higher can it go? And the higher the markets go, the more FOMO there is, the more it gets spread across the media, more and more influencers talk about it. But at that point, it also gets closer and closer to the peak of the bull market, which, in my opinion, by the way, at this point in time, I'm looking for still the front run scenario, which means a peak potentially somewhere within the next 6 to 9 months. If this continues in this fashion, in this kind of parabolic style move, I would guess we probably don't have much more than 6 to 9 months from this point in time for the entire bull market. Then we peak, everyone's still euphoric, and then we get a mega crash. That is what I'm leaning towards now, but obviously I'll continue to adjust that to see if that is on track as the charts develop and as time progresses. Obviously, mainly keeping an eye on things like the Bitcoin chart, the key moving averages, the 3-day 50 moving average, and so on and so forth, in terms of trying to navigate where in the cycle we are and how close we are to a sort of cycle peak. So if you enjoyed this update, smash the like button, share it with your friends and family, post it on social media, send it to a friend. And if you want more help and guidance, I can help you in the best way possible in my VIP membership. You get direct access to me and the community of more than 2,000 members inside our Discord. So there's discussions going on 24/7. You can ask questions, you can get support. I share charts and trade ideas in real time. And the best part is it's risk-free, as there's a 60-day unconditional money-back guarantee. The sooner you join, the better it is, because then you can get that information before the market continues higher. So if you want that, the link is in the description down below to be able to sign up. And I will be increasing prices in January of 2024. So now is still the best time to join. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.